Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend, and I'm back. I hope everybody is well. Um, I'm just squeezing out my tea bags. uh, who's here? Say hello. No one. I saw Regine and Starry Sky purchased a reading, so I will put that on the list. What's new with everybody else? My daughter had 3 friends over last night just to watch a movie, and then they didn't. Hi, Tropical Empress, how are you? And they didn't watch the movie. Well, they ran back anyway. Whatever. They were being 12. Let's see. I've got Regine and Starry Sky, and let's see if anyone else purchased. That's it. How are you today, Tropical Empress? Yep, just Regine and Starry Sky. Just maybe a few minutes, I guess. Hi, CB. Oh my God. Okay. I got your email. I'm sorry I didn't respond. Like literally, I was like, what? so, very happy for you. That's the way it should be. If you weren't all smiles, I'd be like, no, that was the wrong person. Okay, sounds good. CB gave me a validation that one of the predictions I made happened about, I won't go into details, but that a gentleman that she already knew would make things right. For with the lawyers, CB, she said that in case anybody's watching this, most people don't, but hi, Starry Sky. Good morning. How are you? Hi, Regine. Good morning. It'll go fine. I think, sometimes we work things up so much more. Good morning, Tammy. How are you? I'm assuming you're not working today. Yeah, I mean, if our thoughts create our reality, if our beliefs create our reality, and you move forward with the idea of that, the dread will create what you're dreading. Yeah, so it's just like, oh, it's easier than I anticipated. So even if, like, it's like, oh, even if you go with the thought process of it was so much easier than I ever even imagined. So then that way, if you're having the dreadful thoughts, you don't go, oh my God, I'm going to create this. It's just like move to the end of like walking out or messaging me. I always think of it sometimes just if I just like texting someone or messaging somebody or even telling you guys about it, because then I don't have to imagine huge scenarios around me, right? I'm always amazed. I think so. This is like having come from as a child of divorce, and my parents divorced when I was 6, and they didn't speak until my wedding, and I was like almost 30. Even when I was 12 and I moved in with my dad, like I moved in with my dad the day after 7th grade ended. But he had me hand my mom the paperwork for her to sign from the attorneys, and that's how she found out. He never talked to her about it. He never like, and of course, like I was a little kid, so how do I like, and we also like Gen X, so like parents knew whatever. So I can't imagine not like whatever happens in life, not putting your kids' mental health and well-being absolute paramount to everything else, because like you're a grown up and like you're making decisions that are drastically affecting. Yeah, my dad was a total shit. And I didn't realize that. Like, I mean, I knew he was a total shit before that, but like it wasn't until I was like just a few years ago, I was like, wow, that was really fucked up to do. That's a super fucked up decision. Like, yeah. Okay, tropical. Your initials are A-N. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm also the type of person that when I didn't have to like you when I worked with you to be respectful. I didn't have to like you in order to feel the need to stand up for you when I thought something was wrong. And I don't think people get that. Like I I remember I got a when I left my last job, I was leaving because I was having my daughter, and they had like a little baby shower for me, and a woman who I did not expect to knitted a blanket for me. Like I would never have expected anything from her, let alone her making something handmade for me. And I think it was because, like, this is like maybe a stretch, but there was an incident where I had asked a CNA to come down, or a lab person. I don't know if they were technically CNAs or lab people, but she worked in the lab. And I said, can you, well, yeah. It was in a clinic, so it's like lab use loosely. But I was like, can someone come down and help us? Because we're totally inundated in pediatrics. And this woman, she was a Black woman. And I do think that matters to this story. She came down and like totally was like, yeah, sure, no problem, I'll come down. And then the manager, who was a white woman, she was a bitch. She said to me one time, she's like, I don't know how your husband can stand you, let alone I never really interacted with her at all, other than like the interview and her telling me what to do and me saying, okay. So there was another nurse who was like spreading all kinds of crazy rumors about me. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? It got to a point where I was like, just fucking fire me. Like, I said to her, literally, if I'm the problem in your clinic, fire me. Because I don't want to be the problem. I don't want to create chaos. If you really believe I'm the problem, fire me. I understand how my contract works. You can let me go today. I will walk out of here. I don't need to come back in. And she was like totally shocked. But the lab thing. So she came down. She's like, what are you doing anyway? She was like such trash to this woman. And I was like, oh, I asked her to come down. She was incredibly helpful. I really appreciated it. We were totally slammed and inundated. And I don't think, because I kind of kept to myself a lot, I don't think people expected me to stand up, but I don't care who you are. I don't have to like you. I don't have to be friends with you. If I see that you're being treated shitty, I will stand up for you. I have not connected my GPay. That will be something that I do, but it won't be like no offense, it's not my major priority right now. I just have a lot going on. So, but I will look into it. It's just, I like, sorry, it just didn't become a priority this week. It's like, I'm working on trying to get my daughter a 504 and then there was like, I didn't have school for 2 days, so they were home, and trying to find an advocate to help me with it, because unfortunately I've had experiences with the school districts with my older daughter that just talking to other parents, and you really just have to have some sort of representation, because I feel like they try to bulldoze you in any and every way possible if they can, or leave you in the dark, or not give your kid as much as that they need, because I think not enough people understand that even ADHD is a disability. It does create a lot of, they don't see it as a disability, and it is like, my kid's brain functions differently, and I have to sit with my 12-year-old and constantly remind her, like while we're doing homework, trying to keep her focused. And maybe it'll come a point where I put her on medication, but I also think simple accommodations, like, I don't know, whatever. Anyhow, let's stop talking about me. Who cares about me? Let's talk about y'all. Let's do your readings. Anyways, that white manager, I think she got on like a power trip of being able to lord over other people, especially people of color and people with less education. Um, I don't know. I saw it a lot. What I thought was funny is like there was managers that I worked with at another job, and like just I don't know, just other atrocious behavior. But man, I don't know. You know what I mean. I don't think you don't care at all. You're all very lovely people, but the interwebs don't care that much. Like I'm in my head pretending that more people watch this than do. So, okay. Hi, base fan. Good morning. How are you? Okay. Oof. All right, let's go. I've got Regine, you're up first. If you're here, I haven't seen you say hello. Oh, yes, you had to. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I'm sorry. You're not unforgettable. I mean, you're not forgettable. You're unforgettable. So I've got Regine, Starry Sky, and Tropical Empress with 2. Ooh, Boston or Central Florida. This is weird. I see neither, but I don't see that not moving. I just feel like maybe something else coming up. It doesn't feel like hang on, I have to look at a map. I saw another payment come in, so I'll look at that in just a second. Okay, this is weird. Okay, so I was like, what state am I seeing? So I guess I didn't realize the shape of Massachusetts, so that's why I wanted to look at it, and that's kind of what I was seeing. You said Boston, right? You might not be moving to Boston proper. You might be moving a little further south than Boston. Yeah. Hi, go Katrina. Hi, Rockton. Payment list is open. Hi, Queenie. Okay, so I'll see who sent payments. So it might be Massachusetts still, but not Boston, just south of Boston, because I saw like a longer shape, and that's kind of how Massachusetts is shaped. Does that make sense? And Boston, interesting. And if it's next year, um, I feel like it would be like, I don't feel like it's this year. I feel like it's like the beginning of next year. So listen, you might just find like a suburb of Boston that's just south of Boston. That's not technically Boston proper. I don't know enough about, I've never been there, so I don't know enough about like the area or anything. Um, okay. I've got one from Tammy. I've got from Cindy or CB. Okay. You don't know why you would go there? Why did you randomly ask Boston then? Yeah, I don't see Central Florida, but I see if you move, it's going to be up north. And I don't know, lady. Are you talking to somebody? I feel like I got to say something. I feel like your income, excuse me, your income is not going to be tied to your locale. So it's in your head, girl. Everything can end up from every amazing thing in the world has started right here. Regardless of, like, literally every amazing thing in the world has always started in somebody's brain. So everything. You never know. Okay. Miss Starry Sky, what's your question? And we'll do the card readings at the end of this too. Rock down, I got your payment. Hang on, let me just put her on here so I don't forget. I believe in one of my spiritual guides is human and one alien. It was each here teaching me, and what frustrates them the most. Okay. I have to tell you that I have only had my guides get really frustrated with me and like yell at me one time. Wait, what's not you? This is for I said I got your payment. I think you're need to pull the little line over. Um so like your guides don't really get frustrated with you. They're really patient and they really understand that we're idiots. Um like in the grand scheme of like it's almost like these. Did you ever see those things? Like these were big in like the 80s and early 90s, those drunk goggles where they would have even though like the police would have like things set up in the mall to like, if you're a missing child to get your thumbprints and stuff. Now that I think about it, I'm like, why do you need my fingerprints? Um uh that's the conspiracy theorist in me right there. But the drunk goggles are like where it's like it always makes you feel like it makes you feel like what it feels like to be drunk. Um and so I think our bodies kind of do that to us. Like they just throw us off kilter from what reality really is. And it's just a temporary thing. So, like, So I don't necessarily, I want to say this. So like I've only been yelled at once by them, and it was because in my single days, I was like, I just want to date him. Blah. Like, so when I say I know what it is to be in the position of like really just wanting to be in a relationship, and like I knew he was so bad for me. He was like, ugh, he was such a twat. Um, but like I shouldn't insult a twat that way, but uh he was such a piece of shit. Um, if I must be honest. This guy I had to like my uncle, I think I told you this guy. Anyway, so they yelled at me, like literally yelled at me. It's not gonna happen. I was like, okay. Like, sorry. I'll shut the fuck up about it. Uh, but they don't get like frustrated when we're not getting a concept. It's like, okay, let me find another way to teach you. They don't have that uh frustration. So let's approach that question from a different angle. Let's approach it of like, um, oh, let me put it this way. They're wise enough to where, like, when you look at a toddler, when you really understand, or when you start to really understand, like, the human psyche, and like some people's behavior comes from a place of like their own wounded shit, and it's really not about you. It's sort of like, yeah, I get it. Like, you don't have that emotional reaction. It's like, so they're looking at us going, like, I mean, that's humans, right? It's more of a like a, yeah, that's the way they are. Like they bang their head on the wall a million times. And you're like, yeah, but if you just did it this way, and then you just like, oh, but they'll have to learn on their own. Like it's you know, when my kids were really little and they were, I'm not gonna wear a jacket. I was like, okay, don't wear a jacket. And then they would get out and I would bring the jacket along when they were really little. And they'd be like, oh, it's really cold, mommy. So I'd put the jacket on. I was like, yeah, I told you. And then as they got older, they would go, I'm not going to wear a jacket. And I go, okay, but you're not getting my jacket and I'm not carrying a jacket for you. And then I was like, so if you don't want to wear one, that's fine. But then you're just going to have to be cold, because I just didn't, I was like, like, you know, like you're old enough now. This is not when they were really little. And then they would go, step outside and go, okay, yeah, maybe actually I'll get a jacket. So it's like they're still, so like your guides are kind of like that, where it's like they get that we're going to stumble and fall, and eventually they're going to let us fall a little harder because we're still being obstinate about it, right? But they'll warn us. They always warn us. They always give us that intuition. So they're not like that. So I'm going to approach the question a little differently in my head when I ask them. Maybe what your learning barriers are, if that's better, or what your hearing barriers are. And you have more than just those two. We all, and the thing is like we all get wisdom from different guides that have different specialties and are from different perspectives and experiences, because that gives us a more well-rounded guidance system. um, like we personify in a very human way what our guides are thinking and doing with judgment or anything else, and it's like they just don't have that, and they don't shame us for anything either. Like I said, the only time I got yelled at was like, dude, it's not gonna happen. Like that was it. Like it wasn't like, you fucking idiot. It was just like, it's not happening. Okay. So I'm going to reread your question. What are they here to teach you? And okay. So I first asked, what is your human guide here to teach you? And I heard patience and understanding and love, but mostly love of self. They actually came from a very similar situation to you, where um, they didn't really, um, initially in life didn't really fit well. Um, and they learned to stand in their truth. Like, we think guides are there because maybe this is a misnomer, maybe we don't, but um, they just had a very particular life that's very similar to this one, where you had to like come out and learn to like love yourself and unapologetically put yourself first in front of others, because you are a very selfless person, but they want you to learn to be more selfish, and knowing that when you do that, then you're actually able to give more to others. Your other guide, the alien one, is actually really teaching you about cutting through the bullshit. Like, that one is less emotionally driven or attached to things, and you are very driven by your emotions, um, and your compassion and your empathy. And this guide is like, yeah, you can still be a good human, but like you can move without quite as much compassion and empathy. Like, we think the ultimate of being enlightened is that you're ultimately compassionate. That's not really the case, because Jesus was not nice to everybody. Jesus got angry at people. If you want to look at it, like if we look at somebody, I don't know enough about any other deity in their history, right? But like, Jesus flipped tables. So like, we're, but he was like, he is an enlightened being according to, whatever, just like Buddha and everything else. So it's like, we need to remember that like all emotions are okay, and like just melting and being a doormat doesn't make you a better person. Right? So his there, because I feel like this person is not really a he or she. Like, there is a little bit more warrior-ish energy, but I still feel like saying he isn't right either. So they, the alien one, and alien because technically we're all aliens if we're just from different places, right? So, but the one that's not from here, um, really wants to teach you about being grounded and being more of the observer of the experience and making decisions as the observer rather than stuck in the emotion of it. I don't think it's a frustration. Uh, uh, sorry, that I was putting it kind of human terms, and the aliens like, no, it's more like, because I was like, so it's the frustration on their part is like they put it more in programming terms, like, or a lock being stuck, and the frustration of you like, so like in moving through and changing this programming, they're like, it's like a lock being stuck, and she refuses to oil the lock in order to make it easier. So like, oh, he's they are using me now to say like, so I like mindless video games. Like, I might listen to a book and then like play a mindless video game while I'm listening to the thing. So whatever. Um, or if I'm not cleaning, if I'm just like sitting there for a minute. And because otherwise my kids go, what are you looking at? Because I'll just sit there and listen. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm listening to a book on an audiobook. I like the ones that have like the characters where they do the voices. So it's just me. Because then, and then also while I'm doing it, I can still stay into it and like clean or do something else. And so, but when I'm playing these games, they're like forever and ever and ever, I would not use my little, like, you know how you like win little tools that will help you get through levels, and I wouldn't use any of them. So I'd have like a million just built up. And my kids are like, why don't you use them? I'm like, I don't know. Cause in my head, it was this very rigid, structured, like, am I really winning? Like, am I really gonna get through if I'm using tools to help me do it? Like, in my head, it wasn't good enough if I used some. And then like one day, this is so stupid, but it's a good metaphor for life. Like, I was like, why the fuck wouldn't I use them? Like, why wouldn't you use something to help you achieve or accomplish something if it made it easier? And there are times in life where I like did have to learn that lesson where it's like, and some of that comes from trauma and hyper independence from like severe neglect. But like, that idea that like ingrained programming taught me to be hyper independent in ways that I didn't need to be. And so this guide is sort of telling you, like, you don't have to make it harder on yourself. And you do. And that's strange, not frustrating, but like you could be doing it easier. I am early. Julia, I'm going to be doing these earlier from now on out, if that's okay with you. I hope it'll work for you. But more people seem to enjoy this time than my later time. Maybe that's better for you. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Maybe it's not. And so that's that one in particular is saying, perfect, good. Then we will do this. I don't know why. I think my rigid thinking was like, people go to church on Sundays. And now I'm like, why the fuck would I care if people go to church on Sundays? Those people are going to want to see me anyway. Okay. YouTube probably doesn't push me out because I swear too much. Anyhow. Oh, and apparently my SEO is shit, but that's that. Hang on. I have to answer the other one. The other one. Oh, that's interesting. So the other one feels like very similar to you. And so there, oh, this is really interesting because I keep getting morphing between feeling like a little bit of a male energy, but almost like the love of a grandmother. Um, it's more the idea of like, there is nothing that's blocking you from hearing me because I feel like it's the feeling of being very, very similar. So it's actually very easy for you to like hear them and receive the message and do the thing. And they knew that it would be a slower process. So there's no speeding that up is sort of their idea. Hi, Kelly. How are you? There's no speeding up the process of going through the process of like putting so many others ahead of you and then learning to love yourself. And so it just feels like, well, I know that like a good braised dish takes a long time to get there. It's low and slow, but that's what you contracted to do, or that's what the way you wanted that to go. Do those messages resonate with the way that you feel their energy? I think that's a way for me to get validation, because I also think getting messages like in those sort of like, I don't know, is that esoteric way of thinking or way of connecting is like, there's no real hard validation other than what you've experienced with them. Yes, it does. Okay, good. All right. So let's see. Tropical Empress, what are your questions? Oh, okay. Wait, I'm so confused. Are you still here? Okay, if maybe you're typing. Tammy, do you want to get your question ready while we're waiting so we can kind of keep moving along? Yeah, our guides don't really like, there's a lot of ideas of like they hate me or they're so annoyed with me. It's like, no, they're not. Like sometimes they want you to ask better questions or dream bigger. Or just be more present. Okay, what messages does my mom Peggy have for me? Okay, hold on. Keith is having sweet. What do you see? I'm going to answer the Keith one first because um, mediumship takes a tiny bit longer. I really need to up the prices on the mediumship ones because they do take quite a bit more time. I think I might do that for next week, just so everybody knows. Keith is having a heart cath. I feel like he's going to throw a lot of, I think they're PBCs while they're cathing him. It may lead to them wanting to put in a pacer. There's more blockage or scar tissue blocking, and I don't know if they, because I feel like the cath doesn't pass as easily as they'd like it to. Mm. Um, be prepared for him to maybe stay to be monitored a little bit longer than what would be, maybe even overnight. Because I do feel like there's something concerning about it. Like not, and this is not like, I don't think this is like, um, it doesn't feel unexpected, but it kind of does. Like, um, it just feels like it's maybe a little bit harder than it should be. Um, I know you said he had, they did a procedure on him. Did they do a cabbage on him before? Or did they put stents in? Like, no. I think he may have to have a cabbage. I got to be honest with you because did they do stents for him or something? Because I just feel like the I'm catching. So maybe there's just a lot of blockage. But I also feel like creates like an irritation, which is causing some weird beats to be thrown. This stent or refer him to a surgeon. Yeah. So I feel like that's probably going to be the outcome. I got to be honest, because I keep trying to pass the catheter and I feel like it's getting like it's like this, right? So I keep trying to pass it, but I feel like there's something that's kind of catching and not really allowing easy passage, and I feel like that may lead to needing either stent or a cabbage, maybe a pacer. I'm not sure, just because I'm getting the weird rhythm. So I don't know if they're just thinking that's just the irritation from the catheter and that should go away. But I feel like they might admit him at least overnight for monitoring. Like I feel like they can't even complete it. I got to be honest with you. Like I feel like there's something where it's like they're cabbage coronary artery bypass graft. So, and you can do, I think you can do, yeah. Um, I won't charge you more for today. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So I don't, Tammy, I don't feel like, I want to say this. I feel like, uh, I'm treading lightly because they're like, but his kidneys. So I'm like, well, it's like a feeling of like the surgery would be okay, but I also am like, there's the concern about kidneys. Um, it feels like the doctors will be treading lightly because of that. Um, it's like it feels like it goes well, but there's a big concern about the kidneys. So it's not as easy and straightforward as a case as like they would want. He's also like the worst patient. Like he's really grumpy. Hmm. I'm not getting a definite yes on a pacemaker, but like it doesn't feel out of the realm of possibility. Do you know if he's had issues with rhythm irregularities? Yeah. So they might. did they ever suggest like a Holter monitor or something for him? I don't know if they do halters on big people. I think they do. I mean, no. Did you take him to the doctor when he fainted or call the doctor or just he just fainted and you let it go? Or is that what led to wanting to do the um, cardiac cath? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could say like, oh, it's like nothing, but I feel like he's kind of got a big road ahead of him. Um, I'm sorry that that's a lot on your plate. Not, I mean, obviously, like we want him to be better, but that's also a lot on your plate. I think um, we forget to honor the caregivers. And like the amount of extreme stress because we were like, oh well, that's what you're supposed to do, like, but yeah, it's still a lot. Figure out my helmet here, sorry. um yeah, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out with us, but I think he'll throw enough, like I don't think for PVCs, um he'll throw enough during the thing. They'll want to monitor him and they'll kind of make a decision from there. But that might even come up as like, if this is a thing where we're monitoring him, we might put in a pacer. So maybe it's a conversation that comes up. Okay. Let's see if we can talk to Peggy. You're very welcome. um, uh, Tropical Empress, I'm seeing a woman who's a little bit more, she feels like a long and lean body. Um, and her hair is short and curly. But I was like, okay, are you ready, Peggy? And it was like sort of this like, oh, is it like, I don't know if she was like sleepy or a little disoriented in life, but like sort of that like while she was waiting, maybe she'd like fall asleep or just kind of like space out and then you'd be like, hey, and you're like, oh, that's right. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Does that resonate for her? Also, did she have like a lot of like nausea or complain of nausea or maybe not wanting to eat a lot? Because all of a sudden I just felt really kind of nauseated. Um, I feel like end of life, she was kind of like a happy go lucky person, but I feel like, well, never mind. I'm like, oh, well, um, for the most part, but she definitely could spit at your feet if she was angry at you, so to speak. Now that she literally did that. Um, uh, oh, she suffered from eating issues and nausea. Okay. I think that's why maybe she was so thin. She's also making me feel like her tongue was sore, like it hurt to eat almost. Like, did you have sores on her tongue or sore? Oh, she's doing it straight at you. Oh, jeez. Hopefully a small light one like they used to carry in McDonald's that were like the aluminum foil ones rather than the big heavy. My dad had this big heavy like orangey brownish, like that. Remember that brown color that was like, but it had like I don't know. He had one of those big heavy ones. My dad was a smoker. She refused to wear dentures. I feel like maybe that was a sensory issue because I just feel like there's like something like where my tongue doesn't feel right. Oh, sorry. She said, well, I'd like to call her a saint, but she really gave it back to me. So, meaning you really didn't tolerate her bad behavior. I also feel like she showed me a lot of the end of life stuff, but I also feel like maybe as a child, like as a kid, like I don't think you were disrespectful, but you also were like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like you had no problem letting her know when stuff was like absurd or not absurd. Not even just her, but just in general. Um, Also the tropical empress thing, like this is her, not me. Like when I was like, oh, she's like, oh, that thing. Like I don't feel like she really understood spirituality or your beliefs. Um, like to her, it seemed frivolous or silly. I feel like the feeling I get is like she was much more earthbound and um, following societal norms. She loves you and she always loves you and loved you, but she sort of was flippant about what you do. Does that resonate? Like she feels like it's more of you like she doesn't take it seriously. It's this idea of like playing dress up. Um, that's her. That's not me because obviously look what I do. Know her spiritual beliefs other than she didn't believe in going to church. Yeah, I don't feel like that. It just feels more traditional, like earthbound societal rules rather than but so she doesn't get like the spiritual stuff is basically what I'm saying. So when I was like, oh, well, tropical gun person, she's like, oh, she really rolled her eyes heavily at me for asking her instead of using your name. Like I was like, well, I laughed at her personality about like, well, she could get a little violent. Like I loved my Gami so much. She like was my place of refuge as a child. She would take us in for a month every summer, and it was just it was nothing out of the ordinary, but it was magical in a way. And but when she got older, like, and I always thought of her like she was pretty reasonable. She never really ever got mad at us. There's only one time where she was a little absurd, where I would like used to make my bed where I'd put my dolls on it, and she had told us to clean up and make our beds, and I did that, and she was like furious with me about it. I don't know why, but and she took all her stuff and hid it in garbage bags. And I was like in tears, sobbing. I think she just like I was like, "That's how I make my bed at home. I don't understand." Uh, yeah. So, but there was one time where she was mad at somebody in public and she like spit at their feet. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, we don't do that. Yeah. But that's like what your mom reminded me of. But she's also saying like she's proud that you always stand your ground and you don't waver. she may not always agree with you or understand what, your headstrong nature, but she's proud of you because she didn't want to ever raise you as a weakling. Your mom was your best friend during my childhood, very fun, busy, and adventurous. I love that. Yeah, I don't feel like she was ever like, you're terrible or anything. She didn't always agree or believe in everything you did, but she still is proud to watch you do that. Hmm. Yeah, she wanted that, but it, like, the flip side of it was like, oh god, like, because it would come back to bite her. But at the same time, she had pride in it because she was like, when you made your arguments, I couldn't argue with them. Like, they were valid. Um, Also, health wise, she's making me feel like you're not going to have what she had. So she's making me feel like, did she use a walker or something to support or stabilize herself a little bit at the end? Because I feel like my feet kind of hurt. And I also felt something here on my right side. Like, I don't know if it's the lung or, but it just feels a little like like I'm not getting enough air movement. She raised you to cut. I never called her a B word or anything bad. Me like, love that. She had emphysema. Okay. I had to use a walker and a wheelchair at the end. Yeah. Because I see the walker. I feel like my feet hurt really bad, actually. Like it, and it feels like not really my toes, but like the front part of my feet, and maybe more on the right, my second and third toes feel sensitive. So I was like, I didn't know if it's like a broken bone thing or what, because it's like different. And then, like, it's not the back of my feet or my arch. And then I felt like really like I can't breathe here. Um, but she's saying like you won't have any of those issues, and it was a feeling of exposure to something. So I don't know if she was a smoker or what, but I feel like you're not going to have those issues. Did she have a little dog? Because she's showing me a little dog, so it's like she's with a little dog. Um, she might have a couple because it's like I hear multiple little dog barks. They sound like they remind me of like my grandmother's Pomeranian. Like they would all like bark together at the same time. And that's like such a different bark than little dog barks are so different than like in tandem than big dog barks. She has big feet. I think that she wore size 10. She was a smoker. Okay. We had a Cocker Spaniel named Rocket, and I had a Chihuahua named Taz. Okay. She's got the Chihuahua she's showing me. Not saying the other one's not because there's like multiple dogs, but she was showing me the little one. So, and I think the shape of a Chihuahua and a Pomeranian are very similar, and they're kind of similar dogs. They're kind of like weird little. No offense to Chaz. Like I always think my grandma had Pomeranians. They remind me a lot of Chihuahuas. Like there's just like this weird like inability to sit still, really, because then the Chihuahuas are always a little shaky and nervous, and Poms are kind of like that too. Um, so I'll take that. I don't know if it's like so she's making you feel like you channel her in a way in your writing. But also, like, if you were to make protest signs, I feel like she would be in your ear being like, "No, do it this way." Like, because I see myself like writing, but I also feel like I'm writing on like protest signs because it feels bigger, not. She's also telling me in another lifetime you two were sisters. So I don't know if you've ever felt that or picked that up, but I really feel like in another lifetime you were sisters. Yeah, I feel like you channel her in your writing. And maybe it's that energy of protest energy, like you said, she was a rebel. Like it's just that energy of like putting it onto paper. Yeah. Um, is the little dog buried under a tree? Because she showed me a tree. She showed me the little dog. Because I thought maybe there's a connection with her and a tree, but it's like maybe like a big oak tree or. There's something with this tree and this dog and a connection. I don't know what that means. What's your husband's first name? Okay. Do not shoot the messenger. Wait, I want to go back. Does emerald green meaning to you with connected to her or emerald? To me, I'm like, well, like Irish or um, like my grandmother was a redhead. She looked really good in green. Uh, or what's the birth month? That's an emerald. August. Is that right? So there's some connection between that. Also, do not shoot the messenger. When I asked her what she thought of your husband before you put the name, I heard unremarkable. But to me, this feels like she made me feel like not that he's an unremarkable person, but like you really carry the fire of the relationship or the like you're the heart of it and he sort of moves around you and he's got a softer energy. It's something that you would need in a relationship. I feel like he's the more, this is not to say that you're not calm and reasonable, but I feel like he's like the one who like helps ground you and center you. So like would he be the first person somebody notices the energy when they walk in the room? No, they're going to notice yours. But it's like this connection that you need. You're part Irish. Okay. Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah. So it's like he's unremarkable in the sense that maybe no one would think much. That sounds really not nice. Again, like the energy walking in a room, they wouldn't necessarily notice his energy because yours is shining so bright. But like that's what you need. You need that balance. If you have two people competing for energies, it becomes overwhelming or suffocating. Um, and he's a nice complement to your energy. I feel like he's a really good listener and a really good objective listener. So I don't feel like he just goes, "Oh yeah, yeah." Like I don't think he's like a yes man. I feel like he's really good at like helping you work through stuff, but like asking the right questions and listening. Yeah. So I feel like he's good at like grounding. It's like I feel like maybe you're often like And he's like, okay, well, like, let's bring this back down. Let's look at this the right, like, how would you like helping you go walk through the questions that like then brings you to a less emotional response and a more, and not necessarily like, I just, that's how I feel. So that's what she's showing me. All right. What's your second question? Two mediumship readings. I'm gonna go back to this and do the second one in a little bit. And then I'm going to answer a couple of the other questions first, only because, again, sometimes the mediumship takes just a tiny bit longer. And that way it gives me a little bit of break between the two. And then I will do that. Okay, Katrina, I got yours. Wait, who's... Oh, wait, that's something different. Sorry. Give me a second. Katrina, where are you sending your payment to? Look, somebody sent a payment to the wrong PayPal last week. So you must have an old one. I don't know who it was. Oh, Katrina, I got yours. Okay. It just came in weird. Sometimes that happens. Okay. I've got yours, Katrina. You sent it to the right one. Okay. You're very welcome, Tropical Empress. Okay. I just have somebody paid in my old pay, like my personal PayPal. Like I have a personal and a business one. And I used to use my personal one, but then I'm just moved everything over to where I have like separate business accounts because that's like sort of better for tax reasons. Anyway. It's to keep my personal and my business stuff separate. So if someone were to ever sue me, anyway, I don't think that would happen, God willing, but you never know. So, okay. CB, what's your question? And then Rockdon and Katrina, if you guys, depending on how. Are you guys still here? Ladies? The organization you're interested in has officially confirmed they're having intake. Yay! And I know I'm going to be a part of this intake process. Once I'm in, how far do you see me going as a member? Is it called a board? Like where they have like the, like the president and the secretary and things like that. I see you looking at maybe eyeing one of those positions. That might be in like 2027, 2028. But then ultimately deciding not to at that time because not being able to devote the amount of time you would want to. So I don't feel like it's a rejection, like they're rejecting you to take the position or you're not voted in to take that position. But I feel like at that time, maybe deciding not to because you're just too busy with life, but that you're still a part of the organization. You just decide not to do that. I do feel like you'll do like, I don't know what's going on with my hair. Sorry. I wish I had a hair now. Um, I don't look at myself really ever enough and so like whenever I catch myself here, I'm like, oh, like just my hair. Uh, um, I'm not like a giant mirror person or a picture person. Yeah, so it just feels like that. So, but I do feel like you'll be on a committee, like not a committee chair, but like a part of like a more of a social gathering event committee, or um, it feels more social. Well, obviously, what you're doing is a social thing, but it's either like an events committee that you're on, but I don't feel like you're a chair of, or I keep getting something like connected to maybe like Special Olympics or something like that too, where you guys volunteer for something similar like that, or do an event with that and being a part of that. It doesn't mean further down the road you won't do more, because I think this is sort of like you're going to do this and you're a part of it for a while. It just feels like initially deciding against it because it feels like it's too much. Let me just put on my Okay. Rock John, do you want to put your question in? Yeah. So maybe that would be something where it's your specialty. Because I feel like I'm at Special Olympics, like doing volunteering for that. So maybe it's setting up a group of women that want to go do that. It's really easy there's all kinds of stuff. Um, sure, Rock Down, you can post. My dad feels so unbalanced while walking. Sugar is balanced, blood cancer, chemo working good, prostate under control. Here's what doctor said, no problem. Internally, then why? Um, have they checked his an iron or, or anemia? Because I feel like there's something there that might not be causing the unbalance, but I do feel that. I also feel like muscle wastage. Like he's lost a lot of his muscle mass. Um, he might benefit from some physical therapy to help regain that. I don't feel like there's I mean, when you eat, your blood kind of goes to your stomach and your intestines. So the chemo's been harder on him, but I still feel like there's like a muscle loss or something, or needing physical therapy, because I they're showing me him with like a physical therapist standing behind him and he's got a gait belt around his waist. So I feel like needing a little physical therapy to help him. I don't know if this is like I'm gonna say this. I feel like it's a result of the chemo, but I don't. If he had chemo, I think, do you have chemo? Vertigo medicine not helping much. I don't think it's a vertigo thing. I'm like, it's like, it's something where there's not being a connection being made, but I also feel like there's muscle wastage. So like he's lost muscle mass. I don't, to me, it feels like there's like, there's something not connecting right message wise with his brain, but I also don't feel like it's like brain cancer or something like that. He's lost lots of weight. I think he's lost lots of muscle mass. So he is on chemo, but it's paused. Okay. So I think it's a result of the chemo. I do feel like it will go away eventually, but it just takes time. But I also feel like he really needs to get into some physical therapy. So I don't know how the medical system works over there. If they can have a physical therapist, I don't know if they call them physios there or what they call them, but here it's a physical therapist, and they're doctors of physical therapy. They go far enough to get that. Right. Does the government have like socialized medicine there, or how does that work? He has brain cancer. So I don't know. There's just something where it's not making the connection. But I think he would benefit. Yeah, he needs to go to physiotherapy to help him through this, because I see him getting walked with a gait belt, and there's a male working with him. And I think that will help him. I don't think it's brain cancer. No. I thought you were saying he has brain cancer. No, I don't think it's anything like that, but I feel like there's some connection not being made neurologically, but I don't think it's brain cancer. I think that it might be a result from chemo. I feel like the chemo will eventually, like that will eventually subside and he won't have it so bad. But I really feel like he needs physical therapy because he's lost a lot of muscle mass, is the feeling I get. Okay. No, I don't think he has brain. No, my question was because you wrote brain cancer. I said I don't think he has that. I feel like it's a result of the chemo, of like just chemo brain, they call it. But I also feel like he needs, like again, I saw muscle wastage. He needs physical therapy. And I also feel like I do feel like he's deficient on some vitamins. So like maybe not getting enough iron or absorbing enough iron. Um, um, so maybe have his iron levels checked, or make sure, when he eats that this is such a silly thing to say, but your digestive system starts in your mouth. Make sure he's chewing his food enough. Because if you're not able to digest your food all the way, or you're working harder to digest, then you're not going to absorb the same amount as you would. Okay. I'm going to leave you with that. Yeah. All right. Katrina, what's your question? And then I will talk to Mike, Tropical Empress. You're very welcome, Rockton. Um, okay, so I asked it this way. I do feel like there's going to be kids. There is a feeling where you might be a stepmom. I don't know if that makes any sense. But then I said, so then I was like, okay, well, is she going to get pregnant? I heard yes. And then I heard, is she going to carry to term? And I heard yes. Um, so are you married right now? I know that's a stupid question, but like, I don't, I'm like, part of me is like, why would the stepmom thing make sense? Because part of me feels like that doesn't make sense. I don't know. But I feel like you'll get pregnant and you'll carry to term. I think sometimes it's important to say that because if you're older, I can say, well, yeah, people get pregnant. Like I told my sister-in-law, we were in her kitchen and I was like, you're going to get pregnant again, or you're going to get pregnant again. And she ended up losing the pregnancy. But then my brother-in-law, he's just a smug asshole. Sorry, but like he was like, I don't talk to them, whatever, fuck it. He was like, uh, the 40s, the filter leaves. So he's like, see, you said we'd have another one. I was like, I didn't say you'd have another one. I said you get pregnant again. I just feel like there's like, so here's the thing then. So I don't know how this fits on what I'm seeing then. That's why I'm like, maybe it's a stepmom because I feel like there's two kids that are a little bit older, but they're still young. And then I have this baby. So I don't know how these other two kids end up there. So I don't know if it's like a family situation where because that's how like the stepmom thing doesn't fully make sense when I'm saying it that. But I don't necessarily feel like these kids are biologically yours that I'm seeing. You have a son now, he's almost 3. Oh, okay. Okay, that fits. Did you have a miscarriage that was a girl? So maybe you're going to have 2 more. Because I saw like a boy and a girl, and then I see a baby. When I asked about the pregnancy, it's like I see the boy and the girl. And the 3 fits, the age range fits. And I feel like you'll be pregnant within 6 cycles, maybe 8. We have 2 more. And I keep feeling the timing isn't yours right now. The timing is the kids' timing, needing to be here at a certain time for their journey. Maybe 2 more of your own. How old are you right now? Because I feel like the feeling I get around not getting pregnant is like not only that it's not about your timing, but that you're putting a lot of pressure and stress around it. And sort of they're like, just let that go. Just relax about it. Like just have fun having sex. Don't try and prevent anything when it feels like you relax and the energy relaxes, and then it's their time to come in. I almost feel like it'll be a girl. And then this other one feels like there's going to be a little bit more of an age gap, but not a lot, and definitely not planned surprise. I don't think it'll be twins. And I can be honest with you, when people say that, like the idea of like, well, you get one pregnancy over with it. Now it's a high risk pregnancy. You're more risk for delivering early, and the complications that come with a preemie are, while better odds, are still like, oh. And granted, I saw a really skewed population, so I have to remind myself that, but like retinopathy of prematurity, necrotizing enterocolitis, and you can have breathing issues, bilateral pulmonary, or BPD. You can have bronchopulmonary dysplasia. Sorry, brain bleeds, just like all kinds of stuff. Then you have developmental delays that can happen, like just like so much stuff where I'm like, take the singleton, even if you have to do it twice, do a nice full term, easy pregnancy. Like, oh. Again, I saw a very skewed population. So like, and I just heard too, like with this one, she's healthy and happy. You're 39. So like 6, maybe 8 cycles, or maybe not even that many. Just feels like relaxing and understanding that like sometimes things aren't about your timing, they're about that other child's timing. Listen, you were a geriatric pregnancy with your first. I got to be honest with you. Like, if you're 39 now, you have a 3-year-old. At 35 is where it starts to become geriatric. That is a medical term. You need to not worry about it. And also, studies show now that there's more complications based on the father than actually the mother. We've been blamed for a lot of shit for a long time, let me tell you. Like, I had a geriatric pregnancy. And actually, that was I puked through all of my pregnancies, but like, my third one was like, my second was just on the cusp of being considered geriatric. My third was definitely a geriatric pregnancy. And she was like, I had an easy pregnancy, went really quickly, minus the puking. So like 20 something weeks. And then the heartburn, oh my God, I had such terrible reflex. I had to sit up, like sleep sitting up straight with my second and third pregnancies. Actually, my first one too. Went from throwing up to like just having to sit up. So I was choking on everything. Yay. But she was like easiest delivery. Women always get the blame. Like, well, but I'm not cynical. Yeah. Oh, there's my hair. Whatever. The curls are everywhere today. The curls are everywhere. Yeah, no, when I had the epidural put in, because I'm like why have pain if you don't have to? Like, I know there's some people that are like, all natural, and I'm like, bring the drugs. In fact, like my first pregnancy, I was like 7 centimeters, like fully effaced, and like I don't know what it is, but like they were like, you're not even feeling your contractions. I was like, I don't care. Give me the drugs. Like, I don't want to feel anything. Nothing. Thank you. I don't know. With my third, it was like the epidural, they put it in, and the anesthesiologist, I was like, yeah, it's not in right. And I had 2 other ones, so I was like kind of already well versed about it. He's like, that's not supposed to feel. Didn't ask what I meant, like nothing. So then after I delivered, my OB was like, so you felt everything, and you did really good. Are you sure you don't want to have any more? And I was like, no, I don't want to. I'm done. Like, I deserve an easy labor and delivery if the rest of it was so miserable. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Put less pressure on yourself. Listen to me. You don't need to do like stop doing the ovulation kits. Just look at your cervical mucus. It will look like egg white. Um, you will naturally get more horny. Like there's like all kinds of things. You'll be more attracted to your husband, and then like after you ovulate, you just don't want anything to do with him. Like that's hormones. It's really like how your cycle works. Um, Nature built us in a way to reproduce, and we just like ignored all of the symbols. Just have fun and relax. There was a mom. I remember when I first moved to the NICU, I had moved from doing, I had gone my first got out of school, postpartum, antepartum, GYN surgical, and we were an all RN staff. We didn't have aides. Whenever we didn't have a lactation consultant, I would try and help the moms with breastfeeding if I could. So when the lactation consultant was there, I would spend time in the room learning, and I would ask them to teach me so that I could actually be of assistance to the moms when there wasn't somebody there that was specialized in it. That's always sort of been my mindset, is like I want to know as much as I can to help people as much as I can when those people aren't around, because they can't be everywhere at once. Um, so I learned a lot about it. And then when I went to the NICU, there was a mom of twins, and this was like they were feeder growers at this point, and her son was like, they call them wimpy white boys, and he just like didn't want to latch. It was very stressful for her. And I looked at her and I was like, as soon as you get those discharge orders, I guarantee you he's going to latch. As soon as it happens, he's going to latch. And like this other nurse was like, what do you know about it? You've never known. I was like, okay. Like, I was like, well, I mean, there's plenty of nurses who don't have prostates that help post prostate patients. Ectomy, I don't know, is that what you call it? Prostatectomy. Um, and then literally, as soon as she got a discharge order, she relaxed because her babies were going home, and he latched. I like in the hospital that day. So like there is something to be said with like just the energy of like chilling out and like going like this baby's coming. I'm not worried about it. It'll happen when it happens. It's not about my time. So let me just enjoy the hell out of this. Like there is a lot to be said for that. Also, one thing I noticed too for me, like looking at it from a, because I always connected with my kids before they were actually here, before I was even pregnant, and I was feeling the energy of my youngest, and my husband was like, "We're done at 2," and I was like, "Okay." But if Soul wants to be here, they're going to find their way here. So she was sort of like popping up for me, and I was like, "Well, if you want to be here, you need to figure out a way to like work that out because, like, he says no." Because I was sort of like, whatever. Like, I love my girl, my other two. Like, I have three little girls, and I was like, whatever. Like, it's fine. But I could feel energetically feel myself pregnant before I was actually pregnant for like 6 months before I was pregnant. Like, I could feel the energy of my belly being bigger. And the other thing was I started seeing a lot of families of 5 instead of just families of 4. So you'll start noticing little things the way the universe brings things into you. I'm definitely a girl mom. I definitely don't. I always wanted little boys. And then like when I started volunteering and helping out in classrooms, and I was like, oh no, I'm definitely not a boy mom. Like, no. So, I mean, the nurses are there, like, so, like, in defense of doctors, because they're a team, right? So it's not to like be like, oh, doctors are terrible. Because I worked with a lot of really amazing doctors. Some of them were shits, but like for the most part, I worked with really good doctors. But like the nurses, the eyes and ears, they're the ones that are there at the bedside. So the doctors that didn't listen, you knew how to, like, if a nurse is trained well and sort of like gets good, and like sort of like once you have enough backbone and time under your belt, you start to learn to be like, oh, this is how I need to get. So when I worked in postpartum, one of the doctors, my patient had like 135 or 100, yeah, 135 heart rate sitting in her bed. And I knew it was from volume loss. So I called him and I said, she's just sitting here and her heart rate's sitting at 135. And, he's like, no, it's compensation. Like trying to like down, like mansplain me, doctor-splain me. And I was like, yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna put that I notified you and I received no orders. And that, like, at that minute when he realized, oh, she's charting this, like, I didn't have to ask him for it. I didn't have to berate him for it. I didn't have to, so like, that's how they interact. But really the nurses are just there to be their eyes and ears and learn and know what they're looking for. It's not that like one is better than the other. It's just like, and that's what I liked. I liked being at the bedside. I actually had to, Tammy, I don't know if you remember this. There was a resident who gave me a verbal order and scratched it out. And I was like, don't you ever, that is a legal document. I just ran her the riot act for it. And then, was it Marla? I think it was Marla called me in and she was like, so one of the doctors contacted me and said that you yelled at her. And I was like, oh, let me just tell you what happened. And as soon as I told her, she goes, oh, because I had told her, I was like, I'm not a nurse because I'm not smart enough to be a doctor. I'm a nurse because I want to be at the bedside. I like having continuity of care. I like being with my patients. I like knowing my patients and helping them. And it was when we were still in the old, Nick, you remember the old one when I first moved in? It was like all the tile floors and like just the little one. Um, and and she was like, oh, okay. Like she didn't care. She was like, as soon as she was like, good for you. Like she didn't say it, but she said it. So the nurses are like, I don't want to put like, oh, they're better. Like there's nobody. If you have a well-oiled machine, there is nobody above anybody else. Like, yes, there are chains of command, but at the end of the day, like the nurse is responsible for any medications that going in and out of that patient. And they need to know enough about it to know when the doctor's ordering wrong because people are tired. They enter things incorrectly. Like people make mistakes. We're human, right? So that's why you have so many people that can catch those, right? It's not like they're bad, they're good. It's just people are human. So there isn't like one better than the other, but they all deserve respect, right? I know. Okay. Um, Tropical Empress, should we try and talk to your dad now? And then if anybody wants a free Oracle card reading, hang out. We'll do those next. And we'll just and usually I never had when I worked on the all RN floor and then we didn't have residents, the doctors for the most part were pretty respectful. Sometimes they would push back. There was one nurse I'd worked with. She was training me and she was like, yeah, you can't give ibuprofen with her platelet count where it's at. You can't send her home with that. And the doctor's like, yes, you can. It's totally fine. And she's like, let's call pharmacy and ask pharmacy. And they put him on the phone with pharmacy. He's like, okay, I won't send her home with ibuprofen. But like, and I had one doctor yell at me once. She's like, why are you calling me? I was like, I'm all the way down at the end of the hall. I have no idea what anybody else is doing because they have like this really long hall. And then there was like the building was shaped like a T. So there was like a shorter hall and this really, and I was like all the way down at the end. I still have nightmares that like I'm working on a floor and I've worked like 8 hours of my shift. I've only seen one patient. I don't know how to figure out how any of my other patients are. And the manager walks by me and is like, and I'm like, oh my God, they're going to figure out that I don't have a license anymore. Why the fuck am I working as a travel nurse still? Like those are my nightmares. Like I don't have, yeah. Okay. So, all right, Mike, let's see if we can reach you. Mike also had lung problems. Yeah. He feels, sorry. Ooh, he's got more of like a round, squarey face and he's a little rounder. Did he also have lung issues? You did not have. Oh, stop it. You did not have to send any extra. I was just thinking like in my head, when they come up, I'm always like, oh, I should charge more for these because I take a little bit longer. Because I'm having to like connect with their energy, make sure I'm getting who they are, and then like give you a message about it. Because, um, oh, Katrina, maybe look into and I am not a doctor, I'm not, but like look into progesterone creams or wild yam creams or stuff like that. He did, and he had to go to, okay, smoking and kidney issues. Yeah, because I feel like what's interesting is I feel like my body is rounder and maybe almost a little barrel chested, uh, which is something you get with emphysema. So I don't know, but like just I felt like a little rounder, and then my legs are skinny. I feel like, did he die much before your mom? Because I almost feel like I don't look that old. Um, or he doesn't look that old. It's weird. I tend to put stuff in first person when I'm talking about when I'm connecting with the energies because they make me feel so much inside my own body, like as if I'm them. Um, and it's interesting. So I'll tell you how I see him now. Like I see him as if I'm looking at him, but I also feel like I'm him. Like my body shape feels like that. There was something interesting about his skin. There's something about his, and I'm looking at his face specifically. Um, did he end up with moon face? Because I just feel like my face feels so roundish, but there's like a sheen or shininess to it. But I also feel like I might have had like old, um, maybe like a more of a waxy looking to his face. Maybe some old acne scars, just a couple, and then or some kind of little scarring, and then, but no, I'm not. I'm clean shaven. Gotcha. He died at 56. Oh, your mom died at 41. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she felt so much older to me. Um, yeah, because I feel like I'm not that old. He had a mustache. Maybe he's just changed it to show me his skin to show like did he have a lot of swelling in his face or something? There's something about his skin where he's pointing out that it's like there's something different about it. I feel like it's funny because I said something. I was just kind of joking around with him about something, and then he started laughing and coughing. So I don't know if he would do that, would just like laugh, and then his laughing would make him cough. Like he would go into a coughing spell. But he really feels he has a nice energy about him. Like I don't feel like he was a mean guy or um, there's something about his skin that he's making me like that I'm aware of. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to push for it anymore, but it's just like something about his skin feels different. It doesn't feel like it was always that way, but he's just making me feel like there's something different about it towards the end. I feel like you hear him. Like I don't feel like you use your clairaudience a lot, but I feel like you hear him. Um, I don't know that he was like a lovey-dovey dad. He doesn't feel particularly like, but he doesn't feel like a jerk. he just feels like maybe not emotionally available. Um, that's interesting. Why would he say there wasn't a lot of room for him? Meaning, I feel like when you were maybe the relationship you had with your mom took so much of your heart, it just feels like he feels like there wasn't a lot of room. Doesn't, and I don't want to say that in a bad way. It just feels like he was okay with kind of taking a step back and allowing that relationship to really bloom. Um, he feels like your mom did such a good job at it. He didn't need to be there or didn't need to worry so much. I actually feel like too when your mom passed, he felt really like that was really hard for him. I fought with him a lot that I was a teenager. Yeah. Teenage, she died when I was 19. Yeah. I feel like I'm sorry for your losses, by the way. Um, yeah, the way he's making me see your mom is like, I don't know. It's interesting because I'm like, I don't get a strong like if they're together or not, but I also feel like this, he had such a reverence for her. He really did. Um, like he really did care about her and really admired her in many ways. Yeah. It's like she hung the moon and the stars. So it's like with sort of this idea of like I couldn't even begin to touch that, and so I didn't know where to fit in, but I really enjoyed watching it. When you say that, he starts laughing and he's like he plays it safe. um, like he's a smart man who plays it safe. When the way he was making me feel like was like a love story and a romance novel is what he made me feel like their relationship was. So I was like, I don't know if they're married. I can't quite tell about that, but like it was like a love story of a romance novel. And yeah, he's like he's very funny. Like I just feel like he doesn't know the your mom was like the only one who could really allow him to open up and feel safe. And that was a huge loss for him. Yeah. Maybe it's the feeling of like where I'm like, I don't know if they're married, but I know that there was this great love. It's like that feeling of, for so many people, marriage can feel like such a drudge to get through. And he didn't feel that way. Like it didn't, it felt different. He's very happy for you. He's so funny. He's like, of course you would have picked good. Like, of course you would have picked somebody like that was good for you because you wouldn't have tolerated anything else. I mean, it really is like that was the feeling I got. It's like, I don't know if it's a marriage, but it feels like I'm reading a romance novel. I almost feel that way about your marriage too, in a way, like, because I keep hearing untouchable, untouchable. Like, it's just like you have a very good marriage, is the feeling he's making me feel like. Like, it doesn't mean it's perfect. It doesn't mean there's not ups and downs, but at the root of your marriage, you have communication and partnership and teamwork. And your goals in your marriage are always to do what's best for the relationship, not like what's best for yourself or the other person. Like, it's you're always you always have that in mind. It doesn't mean that you don't do things individually for your own self-care, but it's this idea of like that may be at the moment what's best for the partnership, right? And that's like, he couldn't have wanted anything more for you. Did he like cats? Because there's something kind of keeps coming up about a cat, and he's petting a cat. Well, find your way back to that. Find your way back to that, the partnership. He had a pet cat. Okay. Yeah, because he's just showing me petting this cat. I'm like, okay. Oh my God. 16. Oh my God. That's a sanctuary. I thought my cousin had a lot. Him and his wife have, I think, like 8 or 9. And they have like 2 catios in the back. And um, yeah, they actually keep the litters. So they live in Texas and like not where they get snow or anything. And so and it doesn't get too cold. So they actually keep their litter outside because my cousin is a total neat freak. Um, yeah, like, well, he always has been since he was a kid. Like, he was like almost OCD about cleaning. And his wife, I have a feeling, is the same. They have no children, so they just have a whole bunch of cats, and he like rescues cats and barely keeps like the like things to put them in if they have there's feral cats at the office. Like, they're both professional. It's like he's, I don't know, whatever. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, who all had kittens? Oh, get those cats fixed. Anyways, okay, let's move on to cards because I've been here almost 2 hours. So let's do quick. If anybody wants a free Oracle card reading, um, I'm not going to put the tea leaf or the, we're going to do the short ones today just because of time. Because, I have other stuff to do today. It's 12:30. Um, like, make sure my kids are catching up on, let's see. We're not going to do the tea leaf or the clear Oracle card because I feel like you need to always have more than one card for that one. And the Kali's descriptions are so long. So let's see. I'll still give you lots of choices. How about that? Okay, we can do past life, enchanted map. So let's make a list so that it makes it easier. Go ahead and put, if you see one, you're going to put your name and put the card deck that you want me to pull from. And so first come, first serve. So get your fingers on your keyboards. Past life, daily guidance from your angels, messages from your angels, inner child, spirit animal, wisdom of Hefes, enchanted map, green witch, or wisdom of the oracle. All right. First come, first serve. Okay. Let me make my list here so then I don't have to go, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, make a wish. All right. Katrina is spirit animal. Nicole is enchanted map. Tammy is past life. Keegan is wisdom oracle. Tropical embers. Spirit animal. Jean is spirit animal. And CB is enchanted map. And Alf is spirit animal. All right. Okay. Let me find. All right. So Katrina is up first. Spirit animal. Katrina. What card does Katrina need? What message does she need? This Elephant spirit, learn from the past. And it's number 25. So if that means anything to you, or you can use it as a number to like wake you up to pay attention. So this one is learn from the past, oracle message. Although we often wish we could leave the past behind, elephant spirit reminds us that memory matters. We must respect the wisdom of the elders who hand down to us traditions they have shaped to express our connection to each other and respect for the community. What has come before informs what we are experiencing today, and we must never forget our legacy of strength and dignity. Elephant spirit appears with the message that we are to acknowledge that which came before and learn from it. All of us are memory-based creatures, and we must revisit the past to understand where we are and where we are going. The stories of events you experience, the stories in our collective memory, and the stories of relationships you have had can be told many ways. What story will you tell? Elephant spirit is here to encourage you to make it one that stirs in you a sense of power and dignity. For you have honored yourself by choosing to learn from your past. Spirit rejoices at your willingness to learn and grow. Is there something going on with your right knee? That's a protection message, and that means if it comes up upside down, but it didn't for you. All right. Nicole wants enchanted map. Does Nicole need this week? What message does Nicole need this week? Okay. Number 7, into the unknown. Let me move my here. Sorry, I'm trying to get it so you're not getting the reflection of the light. That's annoying. Okay, into the unknown. Number 7, trust and all will be revealed. Life is an adventure, and often new opportunities will arise that you won't know how to deal with. This is one of those times. You're required to trust that this new phase will reveal wonders and miracles as you step into the unknown territory. Imagine that you are not only a pathfinder, but a path maker. Whatever your inquiry, trust that you'll be safe. Stay aware as you discover new and marvelous territories and valuable treasures. Sorry, that was rocky. All right. Tammy wants past life. What card does Tammy need this week? Okay, I'm going to tell you how I do this process. I think these are all, yeah, these are right. Ships. This is yours, Tammy. There's no number on this one. Your prior lifetimes spent on ships bring this card to you today. As a former sailor, crew member, or ship passenger, you've had experiences at sea that have exerted an influence on the situations you're inquiring about. You probably already have a sense of the type of life you had aboard these ships. The question now becomes how your experiences have affected your present life. Negative reactions such as fear and phobias, or positive reactions such as longings to travel or special affinity for the ocean, all may have arisen in prior lifetimes. So when I'm shuffling, I'll hear how many times I'm supposed to go through it and when to stop, and cut the deck and pull a card. So that's why I'm doing it. McKeegan wants wisdom of the Oracle. You're welcome, Tammy. All right, what does McKeegan need to know today? Observer. Okay. No, number 49. So maybe that'll be something that means something this week to come up and validate this. Essential meaning: perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance, the oracle's message. Most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find, and you will indeed find. Prosperity message. It is an advantageous time for you to get some distance from what you're doing and see your work and your projects from a different perspective. The trick is to connect to the essence of your goals and aspirations while letting the form and well, while letting the form and timing be dictated by spirit. You may be too personally attached to an outcome and unable to see the miracle because it's not turning out exactly as you planned. Trust spirit. The perfect version of your abundance is right in front of you. Remain neutral and curious and watch the miracle unfold. Okie doke. Tropical Empress wants to change to Wisdom of the Oracle. Sure. You're welcome, Makikan. You too, Tammy. All right, so Wisdom of the Oracle for you. Okay. Here and now. Number 32. Is it that? Trying to get you so you can see the whole card. There's that. Number 32. Okay. Essential meanings: being fully present in the moment, living one day at a time. The Oracle's message: everything happens in the now, in the present. Only this moment counts. You have what it takes to handle anything today if you let go of the need to look into the future or reflect on the past. Be present and notice what it is going on right now. This very moment has the potential for you to create miracles in your life. And I feel called to read the relationship one with you versus the prosperity. It's easy to yearn for a love affair or friendship you may not have right now, one that is more romantic, more fun, more reliable, more passionate. The good old days are gone and a new day has dawned. Let your heart trust that you have everything that you need right now, whether you have the relationship you desire or not. Tomorrow is beyond your reach. Yesterday cannot return. The now is all that is available to you. Stay present and aware that in this moment, as you cherish and approve of your beautiful self, you are a magnet for love. Spirit is madly in love with you right now. Did you know that? Turn to Spirit to feel the joy and love in the here and now. Do you want me to read the abundance? I'll read the prosperity one. What you're working on is golden, and your efforts will leave a powerful legacy. Focus not on meeting a goal in the far off future, but on creating your dream now, releasing your desire for an outcome, and owning that it already exists. It will appear in the material world as if by magic. Claim your prosperity now. The essence is more important than the form. When you are immersed in prosperous thoughts, you automatically tune into a sense of timelessness and unlimited potential. You can act as if in spirit, in spite of the temporary outer conditions. You are prosperous at this moment. What you think now becomes your reality. Stay present. Okay, no questions are being taken. I'm just going to start doing the readings earlier at 10:30 instead of at 4. So we're just doing the cards. So if you want to pick an oracle card, I can do an oracle card reading for you. That one was from Wisdom of the Oracles. I have Spirit Animal, Past Life, Enchanted Map, Inner Child, Messages from Your Angels, Guidance from Your Angels, Green Witch's Oracle, Hafiz, Inner Child. Regine is Spirit Animal. Um, sweet results await. The B, number 7. I'm doing 2 cards today that were 7s, different decks. When you want to know what I think is interesting, why it was like they were like, look at the bottom of the deck. It's not your card, but they wanted me to look at it, and I thought this was really interesting. I have to show you this. So the top of the deck after I shuffled was Bee Spirit. I cut the deck, right, and got the Bee Spirit. The bottom of the deck is the Wasp Spirit, which is sometimes life stings. Isn't that interesting? I thought that was funny. Okay, Bee Spirit. Sweet results await. Oracle message. The Bee Spirit's message is that the sweet rewards are on their way if you are willing to get your ego out of the way and immerse yourself in the connected energy of all things. Bee Spirit knows not to let a sense of being a separate self get in the way of a good thing. Spirit is always producing honey. Miracles and magic are everywhere. When you connect with the great hive, you are vibrating and buzzing in an exquisite harmony with all. Bee Spirit asks that you focus on that would be why that I didn't read well. Sorry. Asks that your focus be on connectivity. Your body, heart, soul, and psyche experience total interconnectedness and a true integration when you self-forget. When you remember that you are part of a greater unified consciousness. Moving from separation into connection, from self-centered limitation to spirit-centered infinite possibility and potential, you become busy as a bee, enjoying the gifts of bee spirit, fully in alignment with your highest expression of yourself. Your heart opens and creativity rushes through you, seemingly without effort, as you experience that nothing feels like work. Industriousness is driven by enthusiasm and inner motivation, and time seems to fly by quickly as the hive supports you in the making of honey. Do you feel the presence of your helpers in the hidden realms adding their energy to your creations? Magical results are taking form and will be sweeter than you expect. Bee Spirit wants you to remember that your part in the divine partnership with the conscious universe is being rewarded, even if you can't see that yet, and asks that you share your good fortune as there is plenty of honey for all. Be a part of the larger whole, the force that brings forth all this sweetness and delightful. All that is sweet and delightful. Sorry. Okay, that was yours. I just thought that was really cool, the bee with the wasp on the other side. Okay, that's Regine's. CB is Enchanted Map. And then Alf. And then Kay wants guidance with the angels. Okay. CB is Enchanted Map. All right. Clear the deck. What does CB need for today? Golden Palace number 23. Whoop. Can't really see the 23, but it's 23. And it was upright. So it is the Golden Palace. Oh, it says, there is always enough. The Golden Palace card represents good fortune, ambitions fulfilled, wealth, and prosperity. It may also indicate emotional fulfillment, as perhaps you're entering a time of happiness that's long overdue. The message here is that self-worth isn't measured by what you have, no matter how abundant your life is. Instead, it comes from what you are, how authentically you're living your life, and how much love you're willing to share. Granted, receiving this card does indicate material gain and a furthering of tangible rewards. But things come and go, and knowing your true value leads to even greater riches now. Share the wealth. That actually reminded me of when it talks about authenticity. It was something I saw. It was like some NDE person, a near death experience survivor, who was sharing her story. And she said the most powerful energy in the universe is not love, but authenticity. So, for what it's worth. And being authentically you is loving yourself. It's just in a different way. Okay. Alf is, you wanted spirit animal, and K wanted guidance. So Alf is spirit animal. Mm-hmm. What does Alf need to know today? Fox spirit, think on your feet. Number 27. Be alert now, for Fox Spirit has appeared, and you are meant to move swiftly. Let this clever spirit draw out your creativity as you adjust to rapidly changing circumstances with resilience, grace, and astutedness. Fox Spirit helps you think on your feet, using your best judgment and wits to help you slip into a more advantageous situation. Now is not a time to hesitate, but a time for swift action of the mind, a time to think outside the box and notice the many ways in which you might make a move, aware of your surroundings and always clear on what you deserve and wish to co create. Trust that your cleverness, guided by Fox Spirit, will serve you well. Okie dokie. And then I think last but not least, Kay wants guidance from her angels. And then I will say adieu until next week. Sound good? Miss Katie this week. Who's guiding her this week? Some of these decks shuffle so much nicer than the others. This one's smaller though. Cupid. And the card says, we send great waves of love into your heart and mind, awakening your love for life itself. Sorry. Your clear decision to accept and enjoy romance has triggered this reawakening. Allow yourself to spontaneously celebrate love in all of its glorious aspects. Love does not always have to be romantic. And find Cupid. This card comes to you because the angels see your desire for romance. Instead of fixing the externals in your love life, they assist you internally. The angels say that romance springs from falling in love with life itself. When you let the angels awaken this love within you, you naturally attract and experience more romantic love in your relationships. Additional meanings for this card: surround yourself with romantic beauty such as roses and candles. Give an emotional hurt to the angels. Ask Archangel Michael to help you release any painful attachments to previous or current lovers. Clearly decide what you desire in your love life. Affirm, it is safe for me to love and be loved. And also, I love myself, right? That's a good one to say. All right, sweet ones. I will say hasta luego, hasta próxima semana. I will see y'all next Sunday. Enjoy your week. Be good to yourselves. Be kind to others. Bye. But not if they don't totally deserve it. Then you can just be like, whatever.